I'm in Wenderly Park in Toronto. Was a man killed here a few days ago simply for being Jewish? David Menzies for Rebel News here in North Toronto, and I'm standing in Wenderly Park along with Meir Weinstein of Israel Now. And you know, folks, for the last 2.5 years, what have we seen in Toronto in light of the October 7th, 2023 massacre in Israel, the single biggest massacre of Jews in a day post the Holocaust? Well, we have seen chants for genocide. We have seen the display of swastikas, cosplaying as Sinwar. We have seen Jewish businesses and synagogues vandalized. And the reason why Meir and I are in this park today is we are here to speculate if an odious new benchmark has been reached in terms of anti-Jew hatred. Namely, a few days ago was a man shot to death in this park simply because he was Jewish. The story is, we had 47-year-old Daniel Stopnicki. He was walking his dog in this park. It was last Thursday, 12:30, broad daylight, and along comes Michaelo Markicevic, 67, an ex-police officer, right, if you can imagine, and he shot, allegedly, Daniel 5 times, 4 in the chest, 1 in the head, and he remained on the scene. He got arrested. He's been charged with second-degree murder. That's a bit of a question, too. We don't know if there's any history between these two men. Certainly, friends and family of Daniel say he had no debts, he had no enemies. He's just walking his dog in a park. So there's all kinds of speculation. Was this a hate crime? Was Daniel targeted simply because he was Jewish? What say you, my friend?
Well, there's so much anti-Semitism going on since October 7th, 2023. And there's been multiple attacks against the Jewish community, physical attacks. There was a shooting just last week on Thursday and Friday at Lawrence and Bathurst, shots fired randomly at Jews, and synagogues in the neighborhood shot up. I'm getting calls from people in the neighborhood who have grown up here that are so concerned about it, that a Jewish man was gunned down in this very park.
Hey folks, before I go on, if you haven't already subscribed to Rebel News, please do so. Also, hit the notification bell. That way you will never again miss another Rebel News video. We've long speculated, when are the pro-Hamas set going to move the needle, i.e. carry out a homicide, if this is indeed what happens? And we have to look at, in the Department of Plenty of Blame to go around, in the political class, big shrug from Olivia Chow. When it comes to policing, we have seen the pro-Hamas set not only ignored, but accommodated, having Timbits and donuts delivered to them as they're chanting genocide in a Jewish neighborhood. What the hell is going on?
I've never seen an upsurge of anti-Semitism like this before. I have a long history of fighting against anti-Semitism since the early 1980s against Ernst Zundel and a whole swath of neo-Nazis, a training camp they want to set up in Alberta, Caroline, Alberta, the Aryan nations. I have never seen this kind of viciousness of anti-Semitism ever, and it is imported from the Middle East to here. And it's normal in Middle Eastern countries, Arab countries, or Muslim countries that Jews are not welcome, period.
And you know what? Some of these people aren't even Canadian citizens. They're temporary foreign workers. They're international students. And if that's the case, they have to be deported. Pack your bags and get to Pearson. And if you feel like we do, go to our petition, deporthamas.com. That's deporthamas.com. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation to Rebel News so that we can continue to bring you the other side of the story.
And anti-Semitism is their daily meal when they wake up. It's here in Canada, and it's normal for them. And attacking Jews is becoming normal. I'm getting calls all the time. Just the other day at a club in Yorkville, a Jewish woman from Israel was accosted with death threats in a club. And so we hear about a Jewish man being murdered in cold blood. Where's the outrage? Where's the outrage? There's a candle there. There's a few flowers or something, and nobody cares.
You know, you're right, Amir. I'm going back maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and remember the incident that became known as the hijab hoax.
Yes.
It was a Muslim girl who said that an Asian had taken a pair of scissors and ripped her hijab. What did we see? A press conference attended by the Prime Minister, the Premier, the Mayor, every single media outlet in town condemning this. It turned out to be a hoax, and what I found grossly amusing in the aftermath was, you know, the usual suspects saying, oh, okay, it was a hoax, but it could have been real, so the outrage was justified. Why the double standard?
There's a complete double standard. Not only that, with the double standard comes, we have this murder, and everybody says, let's not jump to any conclusions. No, let's not say it can't be anti-Semitic. It's got to be something else. It must be something else.
Yeah.
The Jewish community has been through a lot in the past 2.5+ years. There is a fear in the Jewish community, but there's also sort of like a numbness from the overwhelming amount of anti-Semitism that has come. They don't want to say necessarily, I'm talking from the leadership down, but it is. And it's right there. And what is going on in European countries, targeting Jews, murdering Jews, Australia on a beach, murdering Jews, it's here.
Yeah, and, you know, God forbid, are we due in Toronto or in Canada for our version of a Bondi Beach massacre? I mean, that's how, you know, vile the anti-Jew hate is. And again, Mayor, going back to the political class, I mean, later this month, you'll see the annual Walk with Israel march.
Yep.
And that used to be where you'd go and see a who's who in the political class.
Right.
But the last few marches, when I think we're more obliged than ever to stand with our allies in Israel. Where's the Premier? Where's the Prime Minister?
Right.
Where's the Mayor?
100%.
So what's going on? Are they, I mean, I'm speculating here, are they doing the electoral math? There's 5 times as many Muslims than Jews in Canada. And of course, I'm not condemning every Muslim as being a Jew hater, but I think the political mavens are calculating the numbers like an insurance actuary, and are saying, you know what, if it's most ballots that get you past the post, we're going to go with the bigger demographics. Is that what it boils down to, as opposed to doing the right thing?
It's part of that, in my opinion. There's another element to it. There's a fear element, too. These pro-Hamas gangs intimidate politicians and make threats regularly. They don't back down from that.
Yeah.
And there is that type of a fear. They don't want to be followed. They don't want to be targeted. The foreign minister had to change her address for her office because they were going to her office and making all kinds of threats. So that's what's going on here, and that's the reality that's going on here. What should the politicians do? Well, if they have any background, they got to stand up and speak the truth. And the truth is that Hamas is the epitome of evil and wrong, and Canada should stand for Canadian values, and it doesn't look like they want to.
And yet, you know, Mayor, if we go to any Canadian campus, U.S. campus, this unholy alliance between the Marxists and the Islamists, they have a common enemy, the West. Right. Tear down the West, make it a communist utopia, make it a Marxist Sharia utopia, none of which ever works in the real world. But I can only imagine what it must be like for a Jew on campus sometimes, being told, can you hide your Jewishness?
That's exactly what they're told. There's a lot of fear on the campus. Every Jewish group on campus is targeted, and Jewish students are going to campus in fear.
And Mayor, I must say that we have to point out, I spoke to Joe Warmington, our friend at the Toronto Sun, probably the best reporter in Canada as far as I'm concerned, and it was like pulling teeth to get the details of this story. He even told me that it was like a cover-up was going on. I don't know why. And yet, just several days ago, and I got to interview him, Hank Edzinga, the fantastic, decorated detective of the Toronto Police Service, he just published his book, The High Road, a memoir, and he dropped a bombshell that the Toronto Police Service is rife with anti-Semitism at the senior brass level. Could that maybe explain why we've seen the accommodation of these pro-Hamas thugs for 2.5 years now?
Well, absolutely. I've heard anti-Semitism from police officers. I've seen it.
Really?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Can you give me an example, Mayor?
Right to me. When I've heard it from police officers when, I was arrested for nothing.
Yes, I remember that.
And I heard the comments from a police officer to me, and it was not pleasant.
Can you remember anything that he said?
His going through, his parents came to this country and look at what we have to deal, really demeaning to me.
Wow.
As if, my parents came here. Father's a Holocaust survivor. My mother came from Romania that was taken over by the Nazis as well. And they came here and they just worked hard and didn't get involved in politics, no nothing, not telling anyone what to do, and raised a family. And I'm being lectured by a police officer that we're stepping out. I'm born here.
You know what's amazing is that I half agree with him, the part where I came to Canada and look what it's become. Yes, but you, Mayor, you're not the problem. Right. You're speaking out against the evil and the reprobates. This is absolutely staggering. Mayor, so many questions surround this case. We have to point out that even this individual who surrendered to police, he is not guilty until found guilty in a court of law. And maybe in the months ahead, this is where the truth will come out. Was this some crazy random shooting? Was there some personal history between these two people? Or, God forbid, was the victim killed simply for being Jewish? Last word goes to you, Mayor.
Look at the reality. There's armed guards down around synagogues. Yeah. We have to go pray in our synagogues, and there's armed guards. It makes no sense. Is this Canada? What is this? What's it becoming? And then, the government will whitewash it and say, well, we allocated certain funding to the Jewish community. They could have an easier time hiring security, and it's a bunch of baloney. Either tackle the problem or it's just going to get worse. And closing remarks, just like the Holocaust, what started with the Jews, Hitler didn't just target the Jews.
True.
He murdered millions of others. Yeah. And the Hamas supporters, their whole network, they're loud against the Jews. They mean everybody else too.
Mayor, thank you for your time.
Thank you.